Hey everybody, Death Stalker here. So I thought I'd tell you a little bit about my motorcycle history in my family. I remember when I came home telling my mother that I bought a motorcycle, and she just gave me like a annoyed look. I didn't get what you'd normally expect from a mother, was like those things would kill you, you know, don't you dare bring it home and all that sort of stuff. So it was, at the time about it, I didn't really think much about it. Now, a couple years later, when I started racing, I got the same sort of response. It was like, you know, it's like a hum. Don't like it, but I'm not going to really say anything about it. And that was, again, kind of puzzling, because I had friends whose parents would actually show up at the racetrack and help them out, and other parents who basically hated the fact that they had their child was racing motorcycles. Now, my mother and actually none of my family ever bothered coming to any of the races to watch me race, and I really didn't think much about it. I was always sort of doing my own thing anyway, so but I ended up having a very interesting conversation a couple years after I stopped racing with a close friend of our family. Now, I'm going to go back a little bit, and first thing I do is talk about my father. Now, my father is originally from England, and from everything I understand, was a great guy. Unfortunately, he died very suddenly of cancer when I was around 4 years old. So my only recollection, of my father was the fact he was a big, tall guy with dark hair. I don't really remember much of anything, because at that age you don't. Now, you know, I don't need people, you know, saying that's too bad, sorry. It's like it happened. It's life. It's you know, it sucked. It you know, it definitely sucked not having a father growing up, but you know, I survived. And so I really had no knowledge of my dad. When I was at my mother's retirement party talking with his family friend, he began talking to me about my dad. And he didn't know that my mother or no one had actually told me about my dad. And him and my dad were absolute, utter motorheads. And they weren't just motorheads, they were absolute race fanatics. They literally, every weekend, would go out wherever there was a race on, and they'd hang out. Now, the other thing that was interesting is my dad was a techno freak as well. If something new had come out, he was one of the first people to buy it. So, reel tape recorder, he had that. He had a 8mm color film camera, and he had that. Now I'm going to put some now now what I'm going to do is I had found some 8mm film that my father had taken. My mother actually had just asked me to throw the bag out, and I ended up taking the film to a company that actually converted to digital. So I'm going to put up a little video here of some of the race footage that he took, that would have been back in the late 50s, very early 60s. Now there's no sound here, so I'm just going to have a little bit of music here. You can make motor racing sounds in your head if you want to. So. Okay, so you've seen the footage, and you got to see how everyone was racing the black leathers, and you know, it looked actually looked pretty interesting to me. Now, that racetrack actually, I believe, was about 45 minutes south of here. It doesn't exist anymore. It was actually built on an old Air Force base, and it's since been, the property been sold or whatever. But my dad actually got his racing enthusiasm from actually his father, which again I didn't find out until talking to my family friend. Apparently my dad's father, back in the teens and 20s, was a top board track racer in the UK, and he was apparently pretty good at it. Now my grandfather, on my father's side, I never met him. Apparently either he died in the war or died around before the war. I'm not exactly certain. So I don't really know the background for that, but you know, I wish I had actually known this when I was racing, because it would have been kind of cool to have, if my father was still around, to, because I no doubt he would have been out there with me at all the races, and it would have been kind of cool. But it's just sort of things that you don't find out. So sometimes it's always a good idea to talk to your family about your family history.